I demand another assistant.
Oh, no, come on,
no,
please.
I want another assistant.
All right, I'll get another assistant.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Can I help you, sir?
No, I want a different assistant.
I am, sir. Mr. Abenazer, sir.
Don't be silly.
Oh, no, please let me help you.
No.
Well, we ran for almost 5
That's Eric Idle in Monty Python's Flying Circus, of course, the legendary comedy troupe, which Idle co-founded, celebrates its 50th anniversary next year, and Idle's just released his memoir, Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, a title Python fans are very familiar with. We met up with him this week at the Lambs Club here in New York.
Good morning. I'd like to buy a book, please.
Well, I'm afraid we don't have any.
I'm sorry.
We don't have any books. We're fresh out of them. Good morning.
With their irreverent, often surreal sketches, Monty Python's Flying Circus would change comedy.
Well, it certainly looks as though we're in for a splendid afternoon sport in this, the 127th Upper Class Twit of the Year show.
We were very serious about it. We took it very, very seriously to be funny.
The troupe featured 5 Brits, Eric Idle, along with John Cleese and Graham Chapman, Michael Palin and Terry Jones, and American Terry Gilliam, who did the animation. Together, they produced 45 television episodes, 5 films, and a blockbuster Broadway musical.
This is the Schubert. Well, we ran for almost 5 years.
I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
The film Monty Python and the Holy Grail was adapted by Idle into Spamalot, which premiered here in 2005. Do you remember opening night?
Very well. It was right here. All the Pythons came.
Were you worried at all about doing Python without any of the original Python cast?
Well, it's interesting because I always think of it as the writing that makes Python special. That material in the Grail is really, really funny. You know, I fart in your general direction. People still go to that same castle and yell that every day.
Wicked, you're wicked, eh? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge. Nudge, nudge. Say no more.
It was Idle who wrote this memorable Python sketch, originally for another comedian. The Nudge Nudge sketch
Yes.
was actually rejected.
Mercifully by Ronnie Barker, because if you read it, it's not funny. There's no jokes in it. Yep. But if you, hey, it's your waffle goer, not on me, hey, say no more, you know, then it's kind of, then it's funnier.
Eric Idle wasn't born to comedy. At age 7, he was sent away to a royal orphanage.
My education was paid for by the RAF, because my dad was killed in the RAF, and every kid in my generation who was there, none of them had any fathers. It was a fairly scary place. There was a dormitory 100 yards long.
And you were there 12 years?
You get less for murder.
Getting to Pembroke College out of there is quite an achievement.
And quite a difference.
Yeah. At Pembroke College in Cambridge, he quickly signed up to perform in a college revue.
The very first piece of material I did was written by John Cleese.
Yeah.
And after the show, he came over and I met him. So my second term in Cambridge.
Right.
And then my life changed.
Not adjust your sex.
After college, he teamed up with 2 other future Pythons in a comedy show.
I'm Terry Jones, and I'm King Lear.
I'm Eric Idle, and I'm Edmund.
I'm Michael Palin, and I'm Cordelia.
Their success led to the offer of a bigger show, but the studio wasn't ready yet.
And so when Cleese called up and said, oh, I've got this offer for a late night Sunday show at the BBC, will you want to come and do it with me? We said, yeah, we might as well, because we're waiting for, we're waiting for our big show to happen.
The big show never happened.
The big show never happened.
And now for something completely different.
Instead, in October of 1969, Monty Python's Flying Circus went on the air. You really didn't know what you were doing.
We hadn't a clue. But we knew what we didn't want to do. We knew we didn't want to be safe.
I'm sorry. And now, a frontal nudity.
How was it received initially in Britain?
With massive indifference.
I wish to make a complaint.
Sorry, we're closing for lunch.
Never mind that, my lad. I wish to complain about this parrot what I purchased not half an hour ago from this very boutique.
Oh, yes, the Norwegian blue. What's wrong with it?
I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's dead. That's what's wrong with it.
But slowly, word spread. Eventually, even to America, where the show debuted in 1974. The following year, Monty Python and the Holy Grail was the highest-grossing British film in America.
All right, we'll call it a draw.
Even George Harrison declared himself a fan.
He really came to your rescue at one point.
He paid for The Life of Brian, the movie. He mortgaged his house for the movie to be made because he wanted to see it.
When financing for the 1979 film collapsed, Harrison kicked in £4 million, more than $8 million at the time.
I was flabbergasted. We were over here looking for financing, and people would look at us like we're selling them Springtime for Hitler. You know, oh, they've got a funny comedy about religion. Oh, okay, yeah, show them that. And it was amazing, really, that he did that.
The film's final crucifixion scene featured a song written by Idol.
Always look on the bright side of life. Come on.
That song turned out to have a much longer life than probably you thought it would.
It so did, but about 13 years later, it suddenly became a hit in England because all the football fans would start singing it on the terraces when they were losing. Always look on the bright side of life. Da-da, da-da, da-da. They were all chanting that.
It is now the #1 most played song at funerals?
British funerals, yes. I'm hoping to conquer American funerals shortly.
In 2014, the surviving cast members of Monty Python gave a farewell concert at the O2 Arena in London.
So we got all these singers and dancers to do all Python songs. Otherwise, it's like 5 geriatrics, you know. So it's like sitting there doing sketches everybody knows.
How did you feel about saying goodbye?
It was powerful. It did feel like a good way to say goodbye and a good time to say goodbye.
But it's not quite goodbye, because all 4 seasons are now on Netflix of Monty Python's Flying Circus, and Idol is working on a film version of Spamalot.
And it will never die because you have to quote the Holy Grail whenever you can, as I did yesterday.
As often as possible.
That's right. We are the knights who say, nee.
Yes.
Nee.
Well, call it a draw.
Say nee.
Well, call it a draw. She taught me that.
I did.
Never seen the movie. Sorry.
I still remember when that show came on the air in America, and I was in college. You couldn't. The entire dorm floor was in the common room to watch it.
As we laughed during the interview.
That's great.